Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney. Last time we started the penultimate case of Investigations 1, where we traveled to Edgeworth's past in his, I think it's his first trial. Well, first time on the job anyways. We did most of it, but there's still one small area we have not been able to get into, and that was the defendant's lobby over on the east side of the courtroom. So hopefully we're gonna get to go into that today. This is still, is this the, no, yeah, this is the other one I think, because this one didn't have, yeah, the other one I don't think had a TV or the couch or anything like that. I think this is the other one anyways. This one looks different. There was no plant in the other one, so it must be different. This is incredibly overpowering sweet scent. It smells like flowers.
Uncle Bad, is this it?
Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there?
It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff.
No, that's not quite it.
Aw, too bad. That's so pretty.
I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it.
Thanks, I'll treasure it always.
These two seem to be getting along rather well. Oh, here. I got something else for you. The way he, like, just aggressively went into his coat and swung out the Swiss roll, I thought he was, like, just gonna slap her across the room. Like, straight into the wall. Crater and all.
Hey, thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy.
Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe?
Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy... I know he didn't kill Daddy.
Don't cry. Every day would be sad if he saw you crying.
I'm not crying.
Okay.
Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too.
Don't you think it would be a good idea for you to go home for the time being?
I'm not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation.
Oh really? When did this happen? Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess it is.
What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why?
People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into.
Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else for now, okay?
Alright. I'm counting on you.
Oh, that's right. Hey, mister.
Yes, what is it?
I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So, please, find the real bad guy, okay?
I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. You know, I'm wondering, like, I don't think the game has the guts to do it because there always seems to be the need for some, like, live culprit to accuse. At least in, like, every case we played so far. I would actually kind of like it if it did end up being, like, a case of double suicide. Like, they just killed each other, and that was the answer. And maybe it is. Maybe the game wants you to think it's not, because if you're a fan of the series, you might have a hard time believing that to be possible. Which would make it much more interesting if they did do that. But it always seems like there has to be some, like, culprit that can spill their guts at the end. Even if they are technically dead, as we've seen in past games. But we'll have to see how this one goes. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy.
Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay?
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. Sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra strong perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. I was, having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened up the window. That smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume.
Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here they go. You can have it.
I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as you had just happened to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail.
Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Perfume given to Bad by you, same perfume as the one spilled in lobby number 1. There is perfume in lobby number 1? I'm trying to remember, was it like in the case or something? Wait, no, lobby number 1. Yeah, no, that's the other... I don't think we can go back there, but I'm trying to actually legitimately recall if there was perfume in that place. I'll take a look at the record. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have quite a few other things I wish to inquire about. Yeah, let me check my record for a second here. Can we do that? Is there anything that, like, would have said anything about perfume? No. I don't know what that's referring to. I don't recall perfume, but okay. I'll trust you, game. So you were in this room the entire recess. Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent.
Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in 2 different locations. Yes, I am. Interesting.
Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you.
Let's see. Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident, and as I recall, Detective Ed was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cessa, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Cadofian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG-8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story, other than that the people who were directly involved. You two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG-8 incident. Faraday, you and I. As you already know, that we 3 were involved with the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean a smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries? That trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. Not because the witness who was going to testify was about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring. Ceci Yu was killed. And what became the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Devoy. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devoy was probably being intimidated by the big bossman. Just another scapegoat. Bossman of the Amano group. You can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling?
I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed Seseyu Manikochin was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder... Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go?
If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Ceci, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention that as well. But how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into that trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean you were fired upon?
You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I'm gonna protect Seseyu. And the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came into the courtroom. The victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do. But just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Yeah, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it yourself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. Cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met Yu once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. The client was related to the smuggling ring, and her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them. Yeah. Yu was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended well this time, for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. Isn't that the guy from the first chapter of this game? The sports maniac?
I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright.
And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer.
Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Bell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping the criminal is just despicable.
I So naive, little Goyle. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are.
How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Kammer?
Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day, you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again and pursued the smuggling ring. That's all. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case.
Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there's more to this statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent toward Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG-8 incident and this second KG-8 incident, both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the precise the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd?
Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already.
I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason, huh? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it'll help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident.
I'm guessing that wasn't an accident. Still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind. Ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
Sounds like someone with insider knowledge. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape. Never tries to draw anyone's attention. And would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little Goyle. I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Godolphin embassy. The Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Until now, the Yatagarasu would have always publicized any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. The fact that that card is publicized in the paper, wouldn't that just lead to like a bunch of imitators? Like, how do you know it was the real Yatagarasu who did it? If it's been publicized, anyone could copy that card. But when we questioned Rail about what was sent alongside the white card, Rail had no idea what it was. And that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rail was a phony. Thank you very much. I have much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. Became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. And now I have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Franziska, there's no need to further depress His Honor. I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence? Your Honor!
Oh, you, yes, can I help you?
I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir.
Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would, except that the defense attorney has yet to arrive.
She's busy with the investigation. So let's keep this brief, shall we?
Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case.
Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. It may be even something that will finally lead me to the truth.
I've placed all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you.
I see. Thank you very much. I'll go and confirm that they are all accounted for.
What's it doing on the, Oh, no, don't leave. Go back. Go back.
What's this doing over here? Evidence that Miss Yu prepared is just sitting here on this table.
You know you can't just walk off with it, right?
Of course I do. Miss Yu must have been caught off guard by her client's sudden accusation. I wonder how she would have defended Mr. Rell in that case if he was still alive. Alright, what do we got here? So this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag.
You mean to the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right?
Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time.
Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about.
Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something.
And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. Sore just jealous that he keeps getting all the attention despite being not even really adopted, just like accepted into the family.
It's also real to see the knife up close.
So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope. What's this organizer doing here?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you.
About what, Your Honor?
They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said that it would help with the investigation.
Detective Bad said that.
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. Might as well flip through it too. Oh, we're allowed to open these. I guess that makes sense. Organizer wouldn't do much good closed up like that. I'm more curious about this. Mr. Faraday's organizer. Appears he was in the habit of using it.
It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Vell convicted down in here.
I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rel was the killer. Between the handgun Rel had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rel was the killer in this case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rel is not the real Yatagarasu. And it would appear that he also had proof that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how he might try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. So maybe the calling card isn't the only signature then. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rel may have had about being the real Yatagarasu.
But he had a way to prove that Mr. Ravel was the guilty party in the embassy murder.
This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later.
Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here.
The hell is that thing? It appears to be a key.
And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle.
The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? Oh, maybe it was like a literal key? I guess that could be your case.
The Yatagarasu's key.
Detective Bad said something earlier.
What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kadopian embassy. The Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this a secret key safe.
And the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases. That's to be expected. Photo of the key the Yatagarasu sent has a rather unusual shape. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday.
Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act?
It's never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose? That's odd.
What is it?
Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer.
That certainly is odd.
The weapon that was used to kill the Kadopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from?
Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rel. That's the only logical conclusion, right?
No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters this courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed. making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside.
In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse?
Need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence.
Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me?
Actually, I do know the answer, Franziska.
What? Then what is it?
One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. This evidence bag? But he didn't mention it in his note. Can we read that again? Let's see. Collect the evidence I need to prove that Rel's a killer. Between the handgun Rel had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. Sound of handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. Also have evidence to prove Rel is not the real thief. As long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. I see. You know, this key and this knife look kind of similar. I don't know if that's meant to be related, but it is interesting that they do look very similar to each other. Like, if you added a little bit, like, something on the sides there, like the grooves, I don't know. I'm wondering if they're related. Like, what if the key is the knife? Here's a piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. I'm thinking the key is the answer here. Just because of how similar they look. This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse.
You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth.
You just need to look a bit closer, Franziska, to see what I mean. Don't the color and the ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything?
They too reminds me of the knife.
Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife.
You don't seriously mean to say...
It appears that you've finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same.
But that's impossible.
Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. See if there's something here. Okay, yeah, there's grooves on this one too. How about that? And there it is. The key.
I can't believe it turned into a key. Just think that there was such a trick to this thing.
So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday was actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up to now.
Frankly, I'm shocked.
Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea that the key was holding a knife blade inside.
But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to the knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday.
Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief, Yatagarasu.
Then maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario?
No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday, was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier. But when we questioned Rell about what was sent along with the white card, Rell had no idea what it was.
See. Alright then. I guess the person who knows the took behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu.
Seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Weapon used to kill Faraday has secret ability to change into key the Yatagarasu sent. I mean, he could have just easily been lying in the interrogation. Just saying. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest.
And then, this gun took the original suitor's life. How ironic.
Indeed. Doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started.
Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it.
I suppose I should explain it to you then.
Yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please.
On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mac Rell was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned. Because of the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot.
A simpleton of a man, that's what he was.
Perhaps he was. For the weapon wasn't the only incriminating piece of evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by security camera. He was an
even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera.
The Cadopian embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area.
So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself?
That looks pretty bad. Yes, the surveillance video this security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You could clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear.
So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life.
Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed?
Are you done with your inspection of the evidence?
Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence.
Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties? What? No, I dare not neglect my duties. What do you take me for?
No, Your Honor. The most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video, is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me.
But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene.
There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, Defendant Lobby Number 2. You think the judge will ever go on the stand during like a Phoenix Wright game? That'd be kind of cool to see. I don't know what that would involve, but that'd be pretty neat. That's Detective Bad. But who is he with?
I've never seen that officer before.
So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere.
I see. Well then, please continue with the search.
Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? What was that all about? Who was that man just now?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
I feel like I should know who that was, but I forget.
Does he even know that we're standing right... Does he even know we're standing right here behind him?
Of course he does, he's holding a mirror. I'm sure he can see you.
I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have ice in the back of my head.
Ah, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So, tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now?
The guy came in here from the Republic of Sengfa to study. He's Agent Lang. Oh, it was Agent Lang. I recognized the hair, but I was like, no, why is he in like a police uniform? It's gotta be someone else. But that makes sense then. He's trying to do everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop. I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he still has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time.
I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad?
Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt it has nothing to do with me.
Fine. If this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Anything else we can click on? I think this is all old stuff.
Earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite the busy man, Detective Bad.
Multiple returns to the crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say.
I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked you about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you, one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think?
Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? You should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to gain some answers from Detective Bad.
Are we gonna show it transforming, or are we just gonna show it to him? Probably this, because we actually have the knife here and not the picture.
Detective Bad, did you know any of the existence of the item in this photograph?
Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case.
In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same?
What? That's impossible.
It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us really knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for.
Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it?
Because I promised Faraday. I promised I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life?
Detective Bad. So that we may find the truth, please, testify for me once more.
Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change.
Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1.
My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this.
That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case.
I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot, right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2.
It sounds like the exact same story he told us before.
Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information we can. Why did Mr. Yu choose lobby number 1?
Answer me. Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all.
So his answer remains the same as before, I see. I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu.
Trivial stuff. It was nothing important.
That's for me to decide. Alright. I suppose that is for him to decide. Moving on then. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give the other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask you please amend your testimony with that statement just now.
Sir. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else?
Yeah.
Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something?
I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it.
I suppose with this detective that's probably very likely.
So the gunshot...
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away?
Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby.
And how did you know that it was a gunshot?
In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know.
I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like.
But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was.
I mean, that sounds reasonable enough, but I'm wondering if maybe there's a chance it was something else? Maybe like a 10% chance? Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway.
Yeah.
Why didn't you attest to that earlier?
When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I had heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed.
Sounds exactly like what Detective Bad told us before. However,
is there something in particular we should be asking this detective about?
There just might be. No one knew that the knife is actually the Yakurasu's key, Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. Okay, I have an idea. Didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Okay. I have some suggestions about what else you maybe could have missed. Is it gonna be... It's gonna be this, I think, right? Yep. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding.
No, so you knew about that girl's balloon?
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway, right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh, so that sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene.
Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway, when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? Don't give me a so.
We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony.
The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
What is that supposed to mean?
The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. Top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then, you mean... Since I was set up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
No.
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Since that means that Scarface's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't have heard any sound of a struggle.
It's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around.
The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine this situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if this is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. No? How so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I thought.
Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to?
It boils down to this. There must be a reason as how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have.
It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
The state of the crime scene? Wait, can it be? It's an ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. And way too noisy. Is that about the TV? Or what was that about?
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
Lobby number 2's television looks like it was set to an incredibly high volume. A window in lobby number 1 was open to allow the perfume Miss Yu spilled to dissipate. No human could climb through these barred windows. The scent of flowers is in the air. Where did the surveillance tape from Mr. Faraday's bag disappear off to? It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through the barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. Wow, no way! Things can move through open windows? Crazy. Maybe? No, okay. I thought maybe someone took the evidence through the window, or like tossed it out the window or something. Just chuck it to the ground. Okay. Well, very loud television and open windows sounds like a great way for sound to travel. Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So, no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both Defendant Lobby 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. That doesn't explain how Bad heard it, because like Bad said he heard it while he was in the other Defendant Lobby. Are these connected, I guess? The missing piece of evidence is a video. That shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during a trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after all that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I've figured out where we should look.
And where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television.
The TV.
Well, you kids have fun. Go and examine whatever you like. So are you telling me everyone's looking around for this videotape, and it turns out it's still in the VCR? No one thought to check the VCR? So then in that case, what happened is this video was playing for whatever reason. Either they were reviewing it, or maybe whoever had the intent of murder in the first place decided to put it on, and they used it as a cover. So they shot their gun at the exact same time as the gun went off in the video. So that way, people might not think it was them. Maybe that was a coincidence. Maybe actually what happened is they fired their gun at the same time as the video, but because the window was open, someone heard the television. It was an unfortunate circumstance in that they didn't want that to happen. But the fact that like the VCR was just never investigated is hilarious. The video player. There seems to be a videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end.
This tape? Could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video? Sir, knock yourself out.
Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see.
This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member.
I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. Video of the embassy staff member's murder. The gunshot is especially memorable. My favorite part of the movie. The sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder.
Do you mean you figured it all out, Zen?
Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from.
Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced.
Now, to show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Okay, so we're supposed to... Is that the VCR? Was that like a stereo down there? This is a pretty well-stocked TV for Defendant Lobby. Like, you've got big speakers, you've got a VCR, you've got like a whole sound system going on down there. Do they need all of this? Okay, so that's gonna be the videotape, right? This piece of evidence will clear away that last remaining contradiction in this case.
Yes, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different last of sorts. It proves that today will be your last day as a prosecutor.
Wait, but is that not what I was supposed to do? Oh, I guess I was supposed to click on the speaker. Okay, I was being too precise, perhaps. Okay. Well, I guess we can click on the window. Let's start with the window then. That's probably the easier one. Let's see. Wait, okay, so I'm supposed to... But we just went over this, I thought. Like, why are we doing this again? I'm not really sure what it wants me to, like, click on, though, to disprove this fact. Like, they heard the videotape through the window? Is that what they want? Okay, that works. If the door and the windows to the crime scene, namely, this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were.
However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it.
Ah, but then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this.
But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain act. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? When the crime took place? Murder weapon. Well, that would explain why there is both a knife and gun. Because, okay, so we know that the gun was used in retaliation, right? Let's see. Faraday died of a knife stab to the chest. The shock from the stabbing caused instantaneous death. Rel died of a bullet wound to the chest. There's no gunpowder burn in his clothes, suggesting he was shot from a few yards away. It's possible that he was alive for a little while after being shot. It has to be the murder weapon then. He wanted to obscure the murder weapon that was used. Make people think the gun went off. Perhaps. Well, okay, wait. Faraday died of a knife stab to the chest. Shock from the stabbing caused instantaneous death. Rel died of a bullet wound to the chest. There's no gunpowder burn. Yeah, so he was shot from far away. So he was shot first. And then he stabbed him. Fell down. Faraday fell on top of Rel. That's gotta be what happened. Okay, so in that case, yeah, it's gotta be the murder weapon. The killer wanted to manipulate our thoughts regarding the murder weapon.
Yes, we already know that the murder weapons are genuine. The forensic scientists have already proven that.
Yeah, but I was thinking like maybe... My thought here was that Faraday had the intent to kill. And he set all of this up. maybe... Well, Yeah, I always think he set all this up. But he didn't realize that Rel got a hold of the knife. Okay. But I guess that doesn't make sense then, because then if he got a hold of... If he was using the gun, why would he then use another fake gun to cover up a real gun? Yeah, okay. No, I guess second thought, that doesn't make sense. Crime scene? When the crime... I guess when the crime took place, because... Well, okay, I was thinking about that too. I was thinking back to, like, the judge and all that, but the judge heard the balloon. Because the balloon got popped 20 minutes before the gun fired, right? So would it be crime scene or when the crime took place? Well, why would it be the crime scene? We all knew what happened in here. Everyone rushed straight here, so it's gotta be when. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes, and they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. Oh, that actually makes more sense then. So wait. Yeah, because, okay, if we look at this, we know when they died approximately 4 p.m. We don't know... Discovered immediately after a gunshot was heard. Right, but we don't know when it was discovered. We know when they died, but we don't know when it was actually discovered. All we know is the relative fact that it was after a gunshot was heard. Possibly not the gunshot. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense then.
So that's why the tape was left running.
You mean, the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. Must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period, and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer.
So who would have known? I mean, it still could have been Faraday, right? But would he really have the motive to kill? Or was that someone else? Mr. Edgeworth!
Yes, what is it?
Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over.
It's her. It's gotta be her. Why else would her perfume be in here? She came in here, shot them, or I guess shot Rel. Well, no, but that does... Okay, I'm still confused about this, because if Rel was shot by Faraday, like, why did Rel stab Faraday then? Unless all of this was a cover-up. And she just knew how to do, like, the perfect crime or something. I don't know, it seems a little fishy that it's too easy to be her.
It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I've been trying to, like, figure this one out all stream now and last time, too. If this isn't, like, a double suicide, I have no idea how this could have worked. Like, it doesn't matter who it was that set up the videotape to mask the time of death. It's like, how did they do it? Because the two that died are clearly holding each other's murder weapon.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating.
But the object you're looking for is already...
Okay. Don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation.
Okay, you got it.
Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for?
If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any task will do.
Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought.
Oh, we're doing this like a real case, are we? Alright.
I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth.
I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest.
The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest? Wasn't that when you placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we even have a viewer in the gallery. And why, even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander.
I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out.
Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've salved a way to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe.
And that's all you have?
Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion. And this case.
Sorry, but I beg to differ. In the trial, there's always time for a rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think?
Absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony.
I feel like we're the ones being plain defense attorney now. If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is prove it, by showing who the real killer is.
Everyone sans the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed there's no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth.
But of course. There's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump card she has up her sleeve.
Hold it!
The suspect? But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven.
Are you joking, Edgeworth?
I assure you, this is no joke.
Look, I know you heard it from the judge earlier, that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll.
Yes, that is correct.
But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who could corroborate what he did since the snacking.
I see she's done her research well, which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding.
Does she not know about the tape, perhaps?
Or maybe she's covering up the tape.
Hold it!
Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide.
The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect.
But isn't it also possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden?
That's the first place everyone looks, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know? Isn't that right, Mr. Bad?
Yeah.
There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows.
There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case.
I also confirmed there's no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Well, wait.
Hold it!
I mean, through the garden maybe, but where else could they have gotten? Are you absolutely positive that there's no possible routes of escape?
Of course I'm sure.
And why are you so certain?
This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. It's Edgeworth. Let's just use a little bit more of it in the future.
Hold it!
You may think it's unshakable, but to me there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand?
You're the only one who was still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, that doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing.
Right, someone did place the gun in his hand, but that doesn't explain why Rel stabbed him then. Unless Rel just, like, actually thought that he did it, but there's no reason for that because he was shot on his front side, so he would have seen whoever fired at him. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I suppose we really reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. Before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking with you about the subject.
Ah, but there were witnesses. For you, there's your mentor who gave you an alibi.
I see.
As for the little missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Kammer, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard, or a bailiff, or anyone else.
Wait, so basically the only reason Francisca bothered to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor? By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty?
What about them?
Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time?
What kind of idiot do you take me for? Doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time when Mr. Band and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard the gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when that gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception.
Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1. Care to explain how that could have been fabricated?
Oh sure, easily. Here you go.
Take that!
Tape.
Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rel the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded into the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up.
You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video.
Ah, but I do. Which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I can think of too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe.
Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we do. It did tweet Miles.
Yes, of course. We knew about the soundproof quality of this courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit that we had no idea until only a little while ago.
That's right. And if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet, we heard the gunshot clear as day.
And?
And that's it. End of story.
But it's not. I should explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from the soundproof room. I mean, the windows are open, although technically speaking, you could say there was a hole in the wall as well. There is actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2, and it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Now, we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also open.
It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the same time.
Is it now? It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window open in lobby number 1? Answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be open. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is... Oh, finally we get to accuse a person. Miss Callisto Yu. I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel.
What? You indict me? You're serious, Miles? Do you think she is the killer?
I don't understand her motive just yet, but of course I'm serious, because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now?
Of course I do, Mr. Edgeworth.
My argument must not be tight enough yet.
Although I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance. Quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right?
Yeah, please explain where you were during that half hour between the murders. Between the gunshots. The real one and the fake one.
You argue that the window was open. However, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially if logic full as holes of yours.
This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now is the time to put the Pandit von Karma perfect proof to the test. I feel like I probably do have proof, or at least like circumstantial evidence. Maybe that's all I need right now. Evidence. All I'd need to do is have some prints analyzed and we'd know straight away.
Be my guest.
She sounds as though she has the room to maneuver, which means, even if we were able to lift prints, they'd only show that it was someone else, but why that someone else was forced to open the window? That's simple logic. Wouldn't there be like a lot of prints possibly on the windows? I mean, from all the different people in the lobbies? Why don't I try presenting that piece of evidence? I have nothing to lose.
What's wrong? Scratched eyebrows, lines on your forehead. They're all back. More importantly, are you going to be okay not running a fingerprint analysis?
Yes, I'll be fine.
Oh, well in that case, I'll just continue with my testimony, alright?
I thought I just proved it was.
Sure, you proved that tape was there at the scene of the crime. However, that doesn't prove that it was actually used in said crime.
Unfortunately for you, Miss Yu, the fact that the tape was there at the crime scene is in itself very important.
How so?
By the very existence of that tape at the crime scene. It proves the possibility that the when of the crime could have been fabricated. And the possibility alone renders all alibis and witness reports irrelevant. Basically, it means that we will need to re-examine every person's movements again. Whether the tape was used in the crime or not, we can reevaluate afterwards.
So in conclusion, you're admitting that you can't prove that it was at this point.
Even if you're shocked, that is of no concern to me. I do things my way.
Oh? I see that you're not laughing for a change. Because I'm shocked.
Again, you being shocked is of no concern to me. Let us continue with the testimony.
Alright, but let me just say one thing. You shouldn't go around accusing people.
Hold it.
Full of holes. Well, I suppose it might be.
Oh, admitting to your faults now, are we?
At this point in time, is what I meant to say.
Should I take that to mean you're just a sore loser?
No matter how full of holes my logic may be right now, if I plug them one at a time, I will ultimately make my way to the truth.
What a paradox. Take care not to fall in one of those holes before you fill it up. You remember, don't you? About why a window in lobby number 1 was open?
Yes, of course I do. And that's how I'll attack. I'll present the reason why the window had to be open.
You proved that the tape was used to commit a crime. When it was open, however, you proved that it was I who did that. Well, do we have the... Yes, we do.
Objection.
Right here.
At least a decent theory. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu?
Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know.
This isn't mine.
That's right, it's mine. And I received it from Detective Bat, you see.
Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much is for sure. That you are the one who gave this bottle of perfume to Detective Bat.
That you're super easy to rile up. So, what about the perfume?
While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad.
Oh, I know.
You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to an open window.
Come now, I've already told you it's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know. So maybe it was just dumb luck that we had heard the gunshot through the window.
The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the gunshot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time.
You mean...
Miss Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's meditated events have only been thought up by you, Miss Yu.
You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday.
Would you care to testify as to why?
Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grew weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all.
I agree.
Does that mean you actually have some damning evidence against Gumshoe? Because, I mean, if you want to win this, you're going to need something here. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top, but I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where that knife that was used to kill him came from. Miles, her testimony is flawless.
Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. If I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her.
Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top.
I think I already explained the significance of that earlier.
You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume. But that's all. That you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill. Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character.
Do as you like. But as for me, I believe.
You believe?
I believe that you are the true culprit in this case.
Oh, you're enthusiastic. Of course, I should have guessed.
Well, now you're blaming me for the perfume? I formally request that you desist in your attack against my mentor.
Yes, or we'll sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth. Well, maybe more like spreading gossip. Although your adamant denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire.
How dare you?
Say such a thing.
Calm down, little Goyle. Don't let get to ya.
Aw, why did you have to ruin my fun? Well, shall I continue?
Hold it!
And why exactly could you not have killed him?
I was just about to testify to that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know, Edgeworth.
Your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand.
Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we?
Objection!
It's you. You'll desist in this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy.
Sorry. Miss Yu, please continue with your testimony.
Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Faraday.
Hold it!
Oh, she doesn't know about the knife, does she? Interesting. At this rate, she'll inevitably escape. But she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Miss Yu. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag.
Miles, what do you think you're doing?
I'm drawing the truth out of her. That's what I'm doing.
Huh? I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today.
Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use.
So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key to Yatakarasu had sent. Unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on.
Like that would ever happen.
Do you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest.
I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony?
Sure, why not? I'll even say it as many times as you like. There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key.
I'd like to say that's a lie. Keys are pretty sharp, they're kind of pointy. I'm sure there has to be at least like 3 murders with keys. Finally, it would appear that you have revealed your true identity, Miss Yu.
Miles, final statement.
Yes, I know. All I have to do now is present the evidence. But what is this ominous feeling that I can't shake? The fact that it's not the end? Of course not. There's gonna be one more. There always is. Can't kill anyone with a simple key. I guess we present the knife.
Objection!
Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key that Yatakarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatakarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not?
Yes.
Well, with the Yatakarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing of the... You gonna follow through with that objection, or...
I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away. You could be lying for all I know.
You would, even now, still feign ignorance?
I'm not feigning anything. We can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa?
Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now take a good look.
This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing?
Are you satisfied now?
But of course.
You knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of law enforcement, and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, the something that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was?
Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. And just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time.
Oh, how fucking convenient. Okay, sure he did.
But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms.
Why would he tell you, his opposition, a non-member of a person not of law enforcement, about this secret aspect of this object that only like 6 people apparently were supposed to know about? What you are saying is simply not possible.
Oh, and why not?
Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife.
Well, I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication?
Unfortunately, that is also impossible, because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. It would have been highly classified information, even within the police force, and it's something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition?
Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh?
How can you laugh at a time like this?
He probably just realized the flaw in his logic. He's actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with.
I suppose you're right. Miss Yu, I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of this knife.
To you now. Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me?
Oh, I will. And I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth. The secret behind the Yatagarasu's key. Only one person would have the knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu's key could change into a knife? Well, it'd be the Yatagarasu, right? Is this a trick question? Only person that would know would be the Yatagarasu himself, right? Hey crafters, how's it going? You're here just in time. We're about to catch the crook, I think. There's only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key.
And that is?
And that is the person who sent the Yatagarasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself.
You saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu?
Miss Yu, you used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against criminals. Why? Why do something like this? I think she's lost it. Which is saying something for her, because she's been laughing this entire case.
Who would have thought? That's you. A stupid rookie prosecutor would see through me. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday. Why? Answer me, Callisto you. Callisto you. Huh. That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, He had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal, a little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things: money and authority, just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out.
Why is Vaughn young? Oh, that's Edgeworth. This is his first, this is like a flashback episode. So this is his first, ever time in court, kind of. Or it was supposed to be his first, trial, and then someone got killed. And so the trial was called off because the person who was supposed to be on trial kind of got murdered. So now we were investigating who exactly murdered him, and it turns out it was her.
I had to kill them both.
But didn't you say that you despised criminals?
But do I really?
Yeah. Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too?
Maybe. What sort of a woman would?
So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent?
Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using the Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. And in order to get with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu's key, just like that. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside that plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life.
How could you kill him?
I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death.
But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well.
I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led to the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd kill each other.
Then a trick with the surveillance tape.
Yes. I didn't actually plan to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet.
You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you betray a client?
Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of who's first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Cadopian embassy staff member, Dead Man.
You ordered a hit job.
You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad. I had Dead Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination?
It can't be. You're...
That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring.
What? How could this? You don't mean... You're working with Manny Cochin, too, aren't you?
Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer.
Quiet. You! Yatagarasu, you can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court.
Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know? The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know what that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. Oh, fuck! You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it.
You mean the key was your real target?
And even after I gave you such great advice. Didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence.
You two, get down. My body. I can't move.
Hey, mister! To your right!
Oh! You! Get him! I love that the game stutters every time it has to pan the background down in this one room. Are you alright, Francisca?
I'm perfectly fine, Miles.
Her voice is shaking. It looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? That's a gunshot. Are we sure that's a gunshot and not another balloon popping, maybe? There seems to be a very similar sound between the two. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. Are we sure that's the only thing that got a hole? He may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. But more importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma, are you two alright?
I'm absolutely fine.
I'm alright. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. I'm sorry if I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened. From Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you were protecting Kay and their feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops.
Pops, what's one too many detective dramas recently, have we?
Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Foreshadowing is a literary concept. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison.
I can't believe how much trouble I've caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe.
It was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's not really your fault, Anna.
Well, even if we didn't have his Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf.
Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired doing my voice weak as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired. You should work hard, given that all you have. Given all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did. Ooh, what is it?
What was it that Kay left me? The proof of their friendship. Oh, is this because it's like... Oh, I love this. We ended on like an actual Phoenix Wright style case. We gotta give the special bonus item for the true end. It's a Cordell special Swiss roll. Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you, after all. Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together. The one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy, it's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Oop, that was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait. What is she? I only noticed just now. Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'ma go help him. Oh, but voiced. You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir. And don't you worry. I'll investigate the next case we're on real well. I'll, be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I've tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. And that trial a few months later, I think that was also Mia's first trial, if I remember correctly. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... Well, we all know where she is. So, do you remember now? Yes, I remember everything. Kay, it's been a while. Kay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Gummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So, does it all make sense now? You betcha it does. Ah, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and, Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu. Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. But that's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then. How do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing. Yep. That's Little Thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo is used by my father. Wow. Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor. He was really a great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed. And the Yatagarasu is no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently.
Someone other than you?
Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article.
Yeah, see, I told you there was gonna be people trying to copy. They put all the Yatagarasu's secrets in the paper. Someone's just gonna steal them. Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card.
Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto Yu lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like this, like a gaudy card out.
But the Yatagarasu did send a white calling card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if my memory serves.
Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up, and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth.
So you're saying that I have your father's and Miss Yu's identities backwards?
Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble till the end. And I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace.
Hey. Gay. He's so honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you're honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you're plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now?
Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman.
That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu?
I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you're able to expose her for who she is, then maybe... Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me?
Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you.
Huh? Help me for what?
When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I am not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid.
Then you mean...
Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in the crime, then I believe I can help you.
Mr. Edgeworth, thank you.
Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Isn't that great, Gay?
Yeah, it sure is, Gummy.
You know, he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Byrne Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. Phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And Yatagarasu's real goal would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. This has to be one of the most coherent groups of Phoenix Wright cases up to this point. Like, every single case has been important to the plot. Like, actually important, not just like, oh yeah, here's like 5 seconds of importance to the overall game's plot. You know, in case number 3 or something like that. Yes, overwrite the save. Alright, so this is the final case of the first game anyways. Turnabout to Blaze. But we still have one more investigation game to play after this, thankfully. I like this. I hope they make another one of these at some point. Doesn't even have to be Edgeworth. It could be, like, any prosecutor, really. I mean, hell, if they make another Phoenix Wright, I would be super down if they just made it play like this. Like, if the adventuring sections were these, that'd be so cool. One of the Black Raven, and one of the White Raven. country torn in two. One to the west, and one to the east. Were those which were split are made whole again? The truth will reveal itself. Oh my god, what is he doing? Oh shit. There he is! It's the Yatagarasu. Oh my god! You, cursed Yatagarasu. K, you. But was it K? Or was it you? Nice. That's a perfect picture right there. It's so nice, almost dreamlike, to finally have a chance to relax and sip some tea. Especially after what a whirlwind the past few days have been. On my return flight, I was dragged into a case involving an Interpol agent's murder. The next day, I investigated a kidnapping and a murder at the Gatewaterland theme park. And later that night, a detective's dead body welcomed me back to my office. Along with a thief who was out to pilfer files related to a case from 10 years ago. How did I manage to find myself in the middle of so many cases back to back? Well, at least I have today. All I ask is that I be allowed to spend it quietly. Never mind for quiet, I guess.
This is big. Big, I tell you. Hey, what's wrong with you? Where's your enthusiasm?
And suddenly the phrase, the fragility of dreams, comes to mind.
What are you talking about, fragile dreams? Come on, let's go. The fake Yatagarasu isn't going to just find herself, you know.
Actually, I feel like the fake Yatagarasu would already have found herself because it's herself, but I don't know, maybe she's going through a midlife crisis, you could be right. Well, if you must know, it's possible that I was paid a visit last night by your fake.
Say what?
Unfortunately for us, the thief managed to escape. But even now, we're still looking for this criminal. However, I must warn you that we've only had a few hours to search so far. So I must insist that you be patient on this one, Kay.
What's with you today? Are you sure you aren't sleep-talking to me right now? Anyway, I've got something much more important that I want you to see.
Oh, and that is?
Take a look at this.
On March 14th, I will be there to steal your dirtiest secret. That's quite a bold declaration to send to an embassy. I suppose it was inevitable that a newspaper would catch wind of this.
The date the card mentions is today.
Today, huh?
Come on, we gotta hurry. The embassy awaits.
I suppose it is quite an urgent matter. However, do you know which country's embassy we should be investigating?
Well, it's some really special country. I'm actually really fuzzy on the details. But never mind that. Where's all your energy? Why are you so lackadaisical today?
I'm not, Kay. You're just too wound up.
Well, then you should get wound up too. Because this just might be our chance to catch that woman.
You mean Miss You? The woman who killed Kay's father, burned Faraday 7 years ago. Callisto Yu. She claimed to be the great thief Yatagarasu, and then disappeared from the courtroom.
I mean, she makes me so mad. The phony. Everyone knows that the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a calling card. Until a company's underhanded dealings are made public. The target is always totally unaware that the Yatagarasu has paid them a visit. That's what makes the real Yatagarasu so awesome.
The Yatagarasu's card that was shown in this article. It looks to me as though it could be genuine.
See, that's the thing. Whoever it is, that person isn't the real deal, but has knowledge of the Yatagarasu. If this isn't a clue that that woman's involved, then nothing is. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Out the door you go.
Wait, There are a few preparations I must make before we go. There's something interesting about this card we found last night here in my office. It's of a different color than the one in the article, which makes me wonder why.
What's up? Any reason you're boring a hole through the newspaper with your eyes?
No, no reason at all. Very well. Seeing as how Miss Yu is also somewhat of a special nature to me, I agree there is some merit to be found in investigating this.
I knew you'd come around.
Theatrum Neutralis. That's a great name. By the light of this night's glorious moon. Don't tell me we went to go see a Steel Samurai show. Is now really the time for this? Seems like a terrible time for this. Oh, it really was the time for this, wasn't it? What a coincidence. Who would have thought that a Steel Samurai stage show would ever be held at such an elegant theater inside a foreign embassy?
The climax is really awesome. Steel Samurai Sushi Slash. I got chills down my spine when he pulled that move out.
I suppose it really is more impactful to watch a show in person than on television.
I have to say though, this embassy is set up kind of funny. I mean, they have two countries sharing the same building.
Well, as you said yourself, this place and the countries it houses are very special. Even this theater is special in that it is a neutral zone shared by the two countries.
So let me get this straight. The Steel Samurai show just now was being sponsored by one of the two countries. The one that's called the Kingdom of Alabast, right?
Yes, it would appear that the Steel Samurai is very popular in that country as well.
Seems that way. But you know who I'm really into? The Jammin' Ninja. The Republic of Babal is sponsoring a Jammin' Ninja stage show. That's something for fangirls like me. We've totally got to see that too, Mr. Edgeworth. The Jammin' Ninja show is gonna kick the Steel Samurai show's rear end.
You know, ever since I first met this girl, I've always had this inkling that what she really wants to be is not a thief, but rather a ninja.
So anyway, about today's event. What's it called again?
The Kingdom of Alabast versus the Republic of Babel Goodwill Jubilee. Well, the versus doesn't make it sound very much like goodwill, if you ask me. The small European countries of the Kingdom of Alabast and the Republic of Babel. These two countries used to be a single entity that was abundant with nature. And it was called the Principality of Cadopia. So that doesn't sound like it was that long ago then, because the Cadopia was the country that was mentioned in the flashback chapter.
Is everything alright, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, I'm alright. Moving on. After a period of civil unrest, the country split in two, though signs of their past remain. For example, their flags preserve the flower and butterfly motifs to this day. Cadopia, huh? KG-8 incident, and what was referred to as the second KG-8 incident, in which an embassy staff member was murdered. Both of those cases were related to the Principality of Cadopia. In the 7 years that passed, the country may have split into two. However, the Atagarasu still sent a calling card here. What could it all mean? Revenge.
Mr. Edgeworth, I know you're thinking about something.
Oh, excuse me. What were we talking about again?
If you could please stop spacing out on me. Anyway, we're talking about the Alabast versus Babal Goodwill Jubilee. The two countries have a pretty bad relationship with each other. But supposedly, they're trying really hard to make up recently. That's why they decided to hold this event.
If that's the case, then why the verses?
Also, both countries claim to own the real Primadou statue, a national treasure to both. They're planning to have them publicly evaluated today, to see which one's the real deal.
Hey, need I remind you to take care and not succumb to your thieving desires?
But when it comes to treasure, I can't help myself. You know that.
She had better be saying that in jest.
Hey, I can read your body language, you know. and you got it all wrong. Look, I'm here to do some investigating. Investigating, I tell you.
I know. And although we don't know if the Yatagarasu will really make an appearance, I suppose we should still spend some time examining this place. Dude, did you catch all that on camera? You really just standing here filming this whole thing? We were standing right in front of you? Okay, that's good. Alright. Now give me a dramatic slam. Right there. Stop! Hey, do you mind? Get out of the way, buddy. Okay, once more. In 3, 2, 1, action! Okay, was that my fault just now?
Well, he's obviously working. I guess we should leave him alone.
I think it's your fault right now, too! Standing with your back right in front of the lens like that. This is the perfect angle. Go, my image. Travel across the wave world and into every TV set around the globe. A more honest approach to appearing on TV might serve your ambitions better.
You know, I've seen a lot of these shows in a bunch of places, but today's show is like they went for a completely different comedy, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that last move, I can't help but laugh. I know, right? And that Pink Princess's moves were really stiff. In the middle of the show, I could swear that I heard her hip crack. Oh, I know, I totally thought that too. Pink Princess has a bad hip? Seriously? Just what were they thinking?
I suppose there's no graceful way to enter this conversation. 10 more minutes. No. And 5 more minutes. Isn't it really bad for me to spend time doing this? It's no use. Would someone please just tell me what I should do? You appear to be troubled by something. May I be of any assistance? Leave me alone! I'm trying to figure out just the right time to talk to that girl over there. If I mess up, it'll be because I'm talking to you right now.
Somehow I get the feeling he's about to fall flat on his face.
Well, let's just do as he wishes and leave him alone. Is there something I can help you with? I was wondering what was beyond those doors. It's the Alabastian Embassy. Now, unless you have some business with the embassy, I suppose I can't really claim to have any business with the embassy right now.
Well, you don't have to be so rude about it, Mr. Guard.
Are these pamphlets? There are pamphlets about the 2 embassies here on this table.
It still looks weird to me.
The country split into 2 a few years back, and they've shared the building and its grounds 50-50 ever since.
Oh, I guess it's because they don't have the money to build 2 separate ones, huh?
I should think that's not the reason why, Kay. I suppose I'll just help myself to one of these. Embassy guide stuck into the pages of my organizer. Can I read it? What is all the hubbub?
Look, it's the Steel Samurai! And he's got his son, the Iron Infant, with him.
Holy shit, the Steel Samurai lore. It just keeps getting crazier. Oh my god, it's the Steel Samurai. Yo, what are you doing sulking in the corner here?
Where tarnation are they? Come on, Big Scoop! Hey, mister, out of the way! Yeah, I'm talking to ya!
I seem to remember this woman from somewhere, yet my instincts are directing me to not engage in conversation with her. Perhaps it would be best if I left her alone. It appears that the child is watching a video from the first season of Steel Samurai.
Go! Keep on fighting until your last breath!
That seems a little on the nose! Completely absorbed in the singing of the theme song, I see. I let the child watch in peace.
And we're here reporting live from the Theatrum Neutralis. As you can see, tonight's audience is full of enthusiasm. Let's see what this member of the audience has to say.
Okay, that was good. Let's do one more run through. Excuse me, but when you're ready to film for real, would you mind giving me a call? I sense that she didn't hear a single word I just said. I don't even know if she was talking to you in the first place. May I speak with you for a second? It's Steel Samurai.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you glaring at him for?
Please excuse me. It's just that I've never seen a superhero up close before.
It looks like he's writing something down for you.
To Edgeworth from Steel Samurai Daddy, married man of Neo-Old Tokyo.
Wow, an autograph. Pretty cool that you got one, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
He can add it to his collection behind his desk there. I'm sure everyone will appreciate it and not think weird things about this man and his image.
Mr. Steel Samurai, Ambassador Alba is waiting for you.
And now the Steel Samurai will proceed to enter the Kingdom of Alabasta to shake the hand of the Ambassador. The Steel Samurai isn't only here for the two countries tonight, but rather can be thought of as a goodwill ambassador from our own country as well. There he goes, off to spread goodwill to the world.
He really does seem like a goodwill ambassador, doesn't he?
Okay, we're shooting the next segment now. Cue camera.
In just a few seconds, the Jammin' Ninja Age show is set to begin. After the show, the Jammin' Ninja will enter the Republic of Babal. He is set to meet with the Ambassador of Babal at that time. The Jammin' Ninja show is about to start. We've got to get back to our seats.
Regrettably, I don't have much of an interest in ninjas.
Well, this show will change your mind. Come on, we have to hurry. If we miss even a second of the Jammin' Ninja's awesome plane, I'll never forgive you.
I suppose you're not about to give me much of a choice here, are you, Kay? How many games is this now where there's been something involving the Steel Samurai and or Jammin' Ninja? 4 or 3? I think 3. Because there wasn't anything in the third game.
I can listen to a ninja marked for death's lullaby song all day. Superb playing, and that sad melody really brought a tear to my eye. His heart-wrenching voice. Now that's the Jammin' Ninja's greatest weapon. Those pieces of Jammin' Ninja's merchandise over there. I have to get them. Especially if you want that hair sticks they're selling exclusively at these shows. They're exactly like the ones the heroine Princess Misola wears in her hair.
Anyway.
Hold it right there, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes?
You're thinking of going home, aren't you?
Well, it doesn't seem like that the Yatagarasu will be making an appearance tonight. Most likely it was a simple prank.
No way. I just know the Yatagarasu will show.
But I thought you said that the Yatagarasu doesn't send calling cards.
Yeah, I did, but...
I figured from the very beginning that this would wind up being a wild goose chase.
That card she sent was a genuine fake calling card.
A genuine fake?
Well, how can I word this? The Yatagarasu's mark on the calling card is exactly the same as my mark. Get it now?
We've got a problem. The Yatagarasu has been spotted in Alabasta. What?
You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? So you finally decided to show yourself, you phony. Hey, what gives?
I'm sorry, but I will need to search you before you may enter.
What the? Hey, the Steel Samurai just walked straight in through without one. If you don't hurry up and let me through, my phony is going to escape.
Okay, country's embassy is considered to be part of the country itself. If you don't go through the proper procedures to enter the country...
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm going to enter through Babal and climb over the wall to enter Alabasta.
Hold it!
Whoa, what are you doing, girl? You would tell a prosecutor straight out that you intend to illegally enter another... Okay, are you even listening to me? Okay, Faraday, and I'm coming through. Oh. Yes, and welcome. Someone stop her. Anyone. Is that the fire? Okay, where are you? Don't tell me you really did find some way over this fence.
Fire! This is too big for us to handle. Looks like the Yatagarasu came to Babala too. You accursed Yatagarasu. Kay, you had better be alright wherever you are.
Okay, what is going on in here?
I told you it wasn't me!
Hold it!
Kay, are you alright?
Do I look alright to you? Now, can you do something about this woman? Mr. Edgeworth.
Detective Gumshoe, what is the meaning of this?
Well, sir, it's this.
Please.
It wasn't me. He was already dead when I ran in here, hot on the heels of the fake Yatagarasu. Look, I only came in here because I saw a suspicious person at the open air stage.
A suspicious person?
A long black coat and a hood over their head. I dare you to tell me that's not suspicious. When I saw that person, I immediately thought that they might be the fake Yatagarasu. So I chased after them into the embassy, then into here, and then lost sight of them. But I just know that person is the one who did it. What are you so worked up over? There is no reason for you to be this loud.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're Agent Lang's secretary. Sheena, I believe your name is, correct? And if you are making an arrest, I assume you have evidence that it was Kay who committed the crime? Is that also correct? You refuse to answer.
I don't need to answer. You are merely a prosecutor in this country, meaning you have no investigative authority. Hey, pal, just what the heck does what you just said mean? If it happened here, it's under Mr. Edgeworth's jurisdiction. The end. And seeing as how this building is sitting on our soil, we can investigate wherever we'd like.
Unfortunately, Detective, embassies are a different matter.
Huh?
This office is considered to be part of the Republic of Babal, which means that anything that happens here defaults to the control of the Babalese government and Babalese law, giving them exclusive extraterritorial rights.
Extraterrestrial rights? Sir, do you really believe that the truth is out there?
Basically, our country's laws do not apply inside the embassy of another country. That was what agreed to by our respective governments. Our authority to investigate was effectively nullified the second we entered this place, which means we can do little here in this situation.
No way, sir. Please leave this matter into Interpol's hands and go home. Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, you're not... Mr. Edgeworth?
Whomst the fuck are you? Come on.
Ambassador Palaiano, I truly appreciate you allowing me to join the investigation. It's really nothing. Manny was my secretariat, so of course I want to help you as much as I can. In fact, it's a blessing that Interpol agents were able to make it so quickly.
Francisca.
Well, I never imagined that I'd meet you here of all places. This is an embassy, meaning that you have no authority to conduct.
Hold it!
Already? What is it?
Ambassador Palaiano.
And you are?
I'm Miles Edgeworth, public prosecutor. I ask that you please allow me to investigate this case as Miss Von Kamma's assistant.
Assistant? Miles, what the heck do you think you're...
Please, I implore you, Ambassador Palaiano.
Very well.
I'll be counting on the two of you, Miss Von Kamma and Mr. Edgeworth.
What did you mean by you'll be Miss Von Kamma's assistant?
I don't exactly have a choice, do I, Detective? If I don't become Franziska's assistant, I can't participate in this investigation.
So you go again, running at the mouth with that aloof expression on your face.
Franziska, please.
I don't know what you're planning quite yet, but at least I do know one thing, that you are now my subordinate.
We get to play as Franziska. Oh, that'd be a twist.
Just remember that my whip is always ready to wake you, should you have a brain lapse.
Of course. I'll keep that in mind.
If you are done playing games...
Right. Let's begin the investigation. Yeah, we need to figure out what the fuck actually was going on here, because holy shit. This looks like a mess. By the way, Detective, I suppose it's a bit late to be asking, but why are you here?
Well, better late than never, I guess, sir. I was placed on guard duty for the Balbalese embassy today.
And why are our police guarding an embassy?
Well, on account of the guard they got from the Yatagarasu. They called us up and asked for our help, sir. Oh, and because we've been searching for the Yatagarasu these past 7 years. It was more or less a mutually beneficial arrangement, if you ask me. Except for how mutually unbeneficial this has all turned out to be, I suppose.
It looks like you failed to competently perform your guard duty yet again. Look forward to your next salary negotiation, although it's out of my hands.
But sir, if it gets cut any more, I won't even be able to buy instant noodles anymore.
Alright, are you just standing here to assert dominance, or what's going on? Sorry, but Interpol is still conducting its investigation beyond this point. I'm a subordinate of Miss Von Karma. Is there some reason why I'm being denied access? My superior clearly stated, don't you dare let anyone near the site, you got it? If I let you examine the site, my superior will get really angry at me.
You know, Mr. Edgeworth, I feel really bad for the guy, so why don't we do as he says?
Yes, I suppose we might as well.
That's some fireplace. You know, it really gives this place a mansion-like quality, don't you think, sir? Ooh, these are a staple in every Balbalese house. And I bet Santa Claus pays them a visit, too.
Just how old are you again, Detective? That's okay, I'm sure he'll find a way to visit every house anyways. Even ones without fireplaces. Small personal safe.
This was Mr. Kochin's office. So perhaps he stored his most important documents in here.
Ah, of course it's locked. It appears we won't be able to open it without the key. So, our victim was the secretariat of this embassy, I take it?
Many Kochin. I heard that he was an admirable person. Very admirable.
The cause of death is a stab to the base of his neck. He was lax in watching his back.
We were fortunate that the fire missed our victim's body for the most part. If the fire had burned a bit longer, it would have made identifying him a hassle.
So Mr. Korchin was stabbed to death in the middle of a raging fire. What in the world happened inside this room? Cause of death, single stab to base of neck. The body wasn't badly burnt by the fire. Something looks familiar on his person. There appears to be something in his pocket. This key. Can't be. Isn't this the Yatakarasu's key that was stolen 7 years ago?
What? What's that? Huh? 7 years ago? Oh, you mean that case where I was framed, sir?
Yes, it's the piece of evidence that stole the life of Kay's father 7 years ago. Which was then stolen by Callisto Yu.
What? Mr. Faraday was killed with this key, sir. I thought he was killed with a knife.
Weren't you in the room? Well, actually, no, you weren't in the room during the explanation. You were in the room after the explanation.
Scuffy, at the very least, try to remember the details of the crime you were a suspect in.
Franziska, as you will recall, Detective Gumshoe was not present when Miss Yu made her escape. Plus, even among law enforcement, only a few know of this key's existence. I doubt that a new rookie at the time would have been made privy to such knowledge.
I feel like the victim right now. All trampled on, sir.
I suppose I'll just have to fill you in now. Secret to this key is... right here.
Ooh, wow, that's amazing, sir. It's like some sort of magic trick.
Yeah, the Garasu stole this from the embassy 7 years ago. It is also a knife. I knew it. This is the same exact piece of evidence that Miss Yu took with her. I remember this beautiful pattern in the blade.
I remember this as well. It's a vine motif, isn't it?
Yes, it looks like two interwoven vines, crisscrossing down the blade.
Vines, sirs? I think it looks like a bunch of stars, if you ask me. It's one of those six-sided stars, just like the police mark on the IDs.
I really don't think you can call these stars. Say that the detective's art sense is underdeveloped would be an understatement.
The real question is, why was the Balbalese embassy's secretariat holding these?
Well, we don't know how Mr. Kochin came to possess this key. We do know that this was stolen by the Yatagarasu from the Kodopian embassy.
That's right. Mr. Faraday had written that fact down in his organizer.
I believe this means that further research is required into the country of Kodopia.
Why don't you ask Ambassador Paliano about what he knows? Supposedly, he was a candidate to be the next Kodopian ambassador once long ago. He should be able to answer any specific questions you may have.
What else we have? This man. Where do I know him from? You don't think... Nah, it couldn't be. Is this knife the murder weapon?
Some preliminary testing has been concluded. According to the results, the blood on that matches the victim's blood. The blade shape was also found to be consistent with the stab wound.
I suppose this means that we now know that the crime was committed with this knife.
This knife's got some real fancy ornamentation going on, huh, sir? This thing practically screams artsy at me, too. Although it's also covered in blood, just like the last thing that I said was artsy. But the handle is pristine. There's not a single drop of blood on it. Speaking of the handle, I believe it has a butterfly motif. It is very beautiful.
Covered in victim's blood, the blade matches the wound. Butterfly motif is noteworthy. So as we recall, one of the countries had a butterfly motif and the other one had a flower motif to signify the different parts. Oh, are we not done yet? Okay, I guess we are done. Wait, no we're not. I didn't check the... Yeah, right here. It's a knife wound.
It's obvious what he was killed with, but I wonder if it's consistent with the wound. Indeed.
Okay, now we're done here. Gotta check every nook and cranny after all. Alright, what's going on over here? Hey, are you alright?
You believe me, don't you, Mr. Edgeworth? You don't think I did it, right?
Yes, of course I don't. And I promise to prove that it wasn't you.
That's enough chit-chat. You can investigate all you like, but it's only a matter of time before we take her in. It would be wise of you to give up while you can.
No, I don't think so. Kay isn't lying. My investigation will prove that to be true.
Go ahead and try then, if you're that confident.
Can't allow this to continue on this way. Must prove her innocent post-haste.
Mr. Edgeworth, there's still something on display on this wax.
Knives, huh? Although the blades are all that remain of them, unfortunately.
I guess the handles got all boinked by off by the fire.
Ah, so even the knives have fell victim to the fire.
Ambassador Paliano, are these knives yours?
Why, yes they are.
They are a special set of ornamental knives featuring the national symbol of Babal. These butterfly-themed knives, along with Alabast's own set of knives, are comprised of 3 knives each. But the But I can't believe the Babalese ones have been reduced to this state. Ornamental knives, huh? There's a small release on the tang of this blade. Ambassador Paliano, what is this notch here for? Oh, that. It is a feature of the knives wherein you can freely exchange the handles on them, so that we can change how they look to fit the situation, of course. I see. So these knives were constructed so that the handles could be easily removed. I'm already getting an idea of what could possibly have happened here. These shelves are lined with American souvenirs and memorabilia. It's really strange, isn't it? I mean, I thought this was the Babalese embassy. So, why are there so many American souvenirs, sir? Perhaps the Babalese are studying American culture and our tourism industry? If they have plans to make the Babalese tourism industry truly flourish, then they would need to observe and study other countries' methods, I suppose. Did they, like, completely reskin this entire case? Perchance? Because, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, why are there American things in this place? If this game is Japanese? Like, I'm just, back in my head, I'm thinking about, like, what did this area look like in the original version? And I'm wondering if this was an American embassy at one point. But then I thought, like, that's a lot of stuff to, like, change. I mean, either way, it doesn't make much sense if there was American paraphernalia in this game. If it was, like, let's say these fake countries were in the Japanese version. It doesn't make much sense for there to be American souvenirs if we're playing the Japanese version, which would be set in Japan. Like, why would they have souvenirs from a completely unrelated country, right? And yet, here we have them. So either this country was always in the version and they changed the shelf, or they changed everything else. I think they probably just, like, redid the shelf, is my guess. I feel like the shelf, because it would be the easier thing to change after all. So I feel like they probably would have redone the shelf. Speaking of tourism, I got these from the blonde guy earlier, sir. But at the same time, you know, blonde guy, blue eyes, that's like the stereotypical American in Japanese games and anime and stuff, so maybe. He said that if I bring these with me to Babel, I can trade them in for a few buffets. Oh? So how do you expect to travel to Babel? Well, the whole world is connected by the ocean, sir. And for all you can eat buffet, I'd swim all the way to Babel if I have to. Can a few simple coupons really motivate people to do such fantastic things? How's he gonna get back? Is he gonna swim back on a full stomach? That seems like a terrible idea. Because this is a national treasure, can I ask you please do not to touch it? I'm afraid that the only ones allowed to touch it are myself and the Secretariat. But there is a possibility that it's related to the murder, wouldn't you agree? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, why don't we give up for now? We can force them to let us investigate later when we find some solid proof. I suppose I don't have a choice here. This must be one of the prima due statues Kay was talking about earlier. Is it just me, or does this man look just like the Steel Samurai? They could be twins. Both countries claim to own real one, national treasure. Only Ambassador and Secretariat can touch. Hey, it's another butterfly. I believe it is the symbol of the Republic of Babel. A drawing this big on the wall of an embassy. It definitely conveys a sense of overwhelming patriotism. Well, I got a lot of patriotism too, sir. The reason I became a cop in the first place was because I want to protect our country. You may want to, Detective, however, I have yet to see the fruits of your desire. You don't have to be so blunt about it, sir. There are still some burnt objects scattered on the floor. Well, burnt things get burnt and they become burnt things, you know? No, because there's no way to prove that the burnt thing started out as a burnt thing. Was it a burnt thing or was it not? I have no idea what's what anymore, sir.
Yes, I suppose it's a bit hard for someone with a burnt-out light bulb to comprehend. Looks like this was once a magnificent grandfather clock, but has fallen victim to the fire.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, is it okay for me to talk about the clocks in my house, sir?
What? If they were unrelated to the case, I hope that you will refrain from sharing, but...
Well, there's this one clock that I made by myself, but the timer's all messed up.
It's quite enough, Detective.
Miles Edgeworth,
What is it?
let me tell you something. You are currently my subordinate, and if you wish to convince everyone else of that, you will speak to me with respect.
Is this like... comeuppance for how you've been treated by him? She's probably just reveling in the idea that Edgeworth has to treat her with respect. What's with the giddy glint in her eyes? I don't think that will really be necessary, Francisca.
Oh, really? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that you are still under me.
I thought Francisca was flying around the world in pursuit of the smuggling case. So then, why is she here at this embassy?
I was investigating at the Alabastian embassy when I got wind of this mess.
Ah, that's right. The Yatagarasu was due to appear at that embassy as well.
Yes, but the difference is that we didn't have a fire over there. Although, there was an incident at the Alabastian embassy as well. But I left Agent Lang in charge of that case and came over to the Balbalese embassy.
Ah, so Agent Lang is here as well, huh?
I see you've met. Well, he's in the Alabastian embassy acting as bodyguard for Ambassador Alba. However, he seems to have a different reason for being there. So the suspect in the murders that occurred in this office is that little girl, I see. Is she perhaps trying to be the Yatagarasu?
I would never harm a soul, sir.
Okay.
You remember, do you not, about the case we investigated together 7 years ago? That girl is the daughter of the victim in that case, Mr. Faraday.
So she's that feisty little girl.
Kay has been on the trail of the Yatagarasu, which is how she ended up here, looking for the one who took her father's life.
I see. Kay's trying so hard, but you know what? The Yatagarasu just keeps on tricking us all.
How so?
The Yatagarasu sent a card saying, I will be here to steal your dirtiest secret.
Well, I think there's many dirty things here now, so it's gotta be a little more specific.
But all we've had is an arson and a murder. But that boys are going in circles. You know what this is, says? It's a breach of contract, and it's going on the rap sheet. If you ask me, I'm perfectly fine with the fact that nothing was stolen tonight.
I do wonder, though, if Callisto Yu really is the Yatagarasu. Anything else we can investigate at the moment? It seems like that might be it. Alright, let's interrogate.
I can't believe that a man fell among thieves tonight. Without him, I have no idea what my schedule for tonight is.
Ambassador Palano, I believe your schedule tonight will consist of listening to reports from the police. That, and only that. I ask you to cooperate not only for your own sake, but for Mr. Cochin's as well.
You have had a stronger man, aren't you? How fascinating. Yeah, I know it isn't much, but I'd like you to have these.
I'm sorry, but it would be against my principles to accept a bribe.
Oh, no. These are simply coupons we distribute to promote Babal.
Remember, we offer a large number of discounts and offers when you visit lovely Babal. Now I remember, the Republic of Babal is known for its feverish tourism industry. I was wondering if you might tell me a bit about the deceased Manny Cochin.
He was my secretary, and the embassy secretariat, charged with running the whole place. He was an admirable man. His death is a great loss to our country. He was in charge of everything accounting, printing, taking care of our national treasures.
I'm sorry, but did you say printing?
Our country's primary source of revenue is our tourism industry. So in order for us to print the necessary pamphlets, flyers, coupons, etc., we have a printing press here at our embassy.
I see.
Please excuse my forwardness, however. I feel I should mention that I have the distinct impression that I've met him before. Oh, yes. Since you are of the legal profession, I suppose you might just have. After all, Manny was involved in the KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? The defendant who was found innocent in that case was a Manny. So your Mr. Cochin is the same man as the one in that case. It's been 10 years. Manny recovered personally from that case and dove enthusiastically into this job. He was the one who planned this event and was to oversee this embassy's renovations. It really is a shame. He had such a bright future ahead of him. What exactly did you mean by earlier by renovations? We can't have a tourists and visitors to our embassy think we're a poor nation, can we? So renovating the embassy is something of an investment. We may have a rather paltry budget, but we're trying our best to make it do. However, I guess the only person who could have helped us do our best is now no longer with us. Ambassador Paliano, I was wondering if I might ask you about Cadopia. Cadopia! Alright. What would you like to talk about? First, I'd like to ask you about this key. What about this key? I found it sticking out of Mr. Cochin's pocket. I believe it originally belonged to this embassy. Is that correct? Upon closer inspection, it seems that this key is shaped like a butterfly. That's not all about this key. It's also capable of changing into a knife. Oh, how fascinating! Is it possible that the ambassador didn't know about the existence of this key? It needs a knife form. There's a flower mark at the base of the blade. I guess this knife might be from when we used to be a part of a Cadopia. How did you come to that conclusion? It is both the Cadopia's national symbols, the butterfly and the flower. I suppose Manny used this key here at the embassy back when we were still in Cadopia. Is it the key to the safe? I'm calling it now. It's the key to the safe. Ambassador Paliano, this key was stolen from the Cadopian embassy 7 years ago. By Callisto Yu, otherwise known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu. Oh, really? You were not aware that Miss Yu had broken into this embassy at that time? I'm sorry, I can't be much of help. I'm not very familiar with the details, you see. I only became the ambassador after Babao became its own independent nation. But if Manny were still alive, he would probably know about what happened back then. Mr. Cochin and Miss Yu knew each other 7 years ago, but that doesn't explain why I found the Yatagarasu's key here in the present. Okay, so we can't go back there. That's fine. Alright, it's probably time to put 2 and 2 together. Let's figure this out. Okay, what do we have here? So we have the lock safe. Are we sure this isn't the key for the safe? But it was missing for 7 years. That's kind of insane. Tell me that safe was locked the whole time? I don't know if I find that very likely. We know for a fact that the Yatagarasu's key was used at this embassy. Furthermore, we found it in the victim, Mr. Cochin's pocket. Which leads me to think that perhaps it is the key to the personal safe in this office. Good thinking, sir. Let's go try it out. Oh my god, if it is, that's gonna raise so many questions. It appears I was correct. The key that was left to us in the victim's pocket. It literally turned out to be the key to the next piece of the truth. What do we have here? Hey, there's nothing inside. Do you think the Yatagarasu made off with everything, sir? No, Detective. I believe all we need is a closer look. How has Gumshoe been able to still be a detective after all this time? When you miss something obvious like this. What is this here? It looks like the ripped corner of a piece of paper, sir. No, I don't think it's ripped. It seems more to me like it's stuck in the safe. Hey, you're right. It won't budge an inch. Not even when I tug on it. but I don't think I've ever seen paper stuck on the inside of a safe before. Detective, I think you have it backwards. It's not the paper that's strange. It's the safe. What do you mean? What I mean is that the secret to the safe is that even just eyeballing it, you can see that the inside is a bit too shallow. Furthermore, with the unnatural way the paper is stuck at the back of the safe, I'd say that there is an extra bit of space behind the back wall of the safe. In other words, this safe has a second compartment. What? I suppose that you are correct in asserting that the paper is stuck in an unnatural manner. However, if what you say is correct and there is a second compartment, how do we go about opening the door to it then? As you can see, there is no other lock or keyhole in sight. Actually, there is one more spot of interest to me on the safe. Oh? Yes, and I believe that spot is the keyhole to our mystery second lock. The safe and its locks. Alright then, since you are so sure of yourself, show me how you deduced your answer. Is it these holes here maybe? Nope. Wait, is this also a key? Hey, there's a hole here, sir. It's a little too oddly shaped for a latch hole. That's a funny shape for a latch hole, huh? It's shaped kinda like a star, don't you think, sir? Detective, I would hardly call that shape a star. There must be some reason for this hole. Well, there's gotta be some reason why this hole's shaped so weirdly, you know? Am I overthinking this? No, I don't think so. Maybe I'm overthinking things. Nah, there's no way I could ever do that. Detective Gumshoe, could you please be quiet for a second? You're frightening me. Looks like such a serious safe, but there's not a scrap of paper inside. Which reminds me, the safe in your office is just as empty, huh, Miss Edgeworth? It's merely a coincidence that both safes are empty, Detective. Well, that make that a triple coincidence, because my piggy bank at home is empty too. I don't think there's anything coincidental about that, Detective. I mean, who uses piggy banks? Of course it's empty, everyone's is. Do I have to... Oh, maybe I see. I'm guessing we can use the key again. Where's the key? Or I guess the knife, whatever. Doesn't the shape of this keyhole remind you of something, Francisca? The shape? It does look very familiar. However, I believe it's simply a latch hole for the safe's locking mechanism. It's just for keeping the door shut, nothing more. Unless it's a double key. Is that so? The person who used this safe, Mr. Cochin, made sure that this safe had two compartments in order to hide something. Do you honestly think someone like that would allow the keyhole to the hidden half to look so obviously like a keyhole that even the average person could figure it out? You can't be serious. Are you saying that this keyhole is the keyhole to the hidden compartment of the safe? That's precisely what I'm saying. And I will prove to you right now that the Yatagarazu's key is the key that will open it. The Yatagarazu's key? Miss Edgeworth, this had better be a very bad joke. Sorry, but this is no joke. The Yatagarazu's key is the very key that will help open the second compartment of this safe. We know that this key opens the first compartment of the safe, but the keyhole you're talking about is of an entirely different shape than that of the key. Let's go over this again, shall we? The Yatagarazu's key was originally made to open Mr. Cochin's safe in the Cadopian embassy. We confirmed that as fact by opening the door to his safe with it. Now, let's take a look at the back end of the key. Looking at the knife portion head on, what do you see? What are you talking? It appears that you've come to understand what I'm talking about. When viewed head on, the knife's blade is the exact same shape as the keyhole. The real function of the knife portion is to act as a key to the hidden portion of the safe. But why make it a knife? That seems so dangerous. But that's preposterous. Because it looks like a knife and was used like one to kill Mr. Faraday 7 years ago, we fell under the misconception that it was always meant to be a knife. But for both the safe and its key to conceal such clever tricks,
Whatever is hidden inside the secret section must be of incredible importance.
Then, it's even possible that what I've been searching for is inside. Scuffy, hurry up and open that safe.
Yes, sir. Opening it now, sir. Whoa! That's a lot of cool stuff back there. These items, it's a bunch of funny shaped things.
I guess they're yawns away. Now move, Scuffy.
I didn't think I was in the way.
These pieces of art, they're identical to the ones that have been stolen from various countries around the world.
I figured as much. These are the treasures this section of the safe was to hide from view. I believe a more thorough examination is required. Ebola is secretly, England, apparently. Taking other people's stuff. This is the document that we thought was stuck earlier. I wonder what it's about. Beats me, sir. Why don't we take a look at it first before we give up, Detective? Mr. Cochin's name is written here on the last page. I wonder what the significance of this document is. These are pieces of stolen art from around the world. I wonder how much they're worth, especially this one.
Scuffy, don't touch those valuable pieces of art with your filthy hands. Do you have any idea what would happen to you if one of them were to break?
Is it just me, or did she hit one of the pieces of art just now? Oh, I thought they were all like separate things. Okay. To build this sort of trick into one safe is really something. Yeah, I guess it's neat how this safe has two compartments. But what's really impressive is that the end of the key was another key I totally hadn't noticed. I wonder if Mr. Cochin was just paranoid if he had secrets of that great value. Why would you take a bunch of stolen goods and just put them in this random embassy? Like, wouldn't it be better to just keep them at your home country? Unless this is more of a personal project, perhaps. Speaking of paranoid, I once sharpened both ends of my pencil. But then when I went to erase something, I got all paranoid I was gonna stab myself. Please refrain from dispensing your special brand of unrelated stories while on duty. Yes, sir. It appears that we found the key that was the Yatagarasu. No, Miss Yu stole 7 years ago. Since it was originally from this embassy, maybe she came back to recoin it? I don't think she's the type to be so kind as to do such a thing, Detective. Okay. Then what do you think, sir? Callisto Yu. For what reason did she steal the key? Is that it? I guess so. I don't see anything else here. Alright. Interesting. Can we talk to you again now? No, okay. Can I present the papers to him, perhaps? Maybe he can read them for us. They did go into evidence, right? They didn't go into evidence? What do you mean they didn't go into evidence? I clicked on them. There's apparently still more here. What else is here? We clicked on all the treasure, clicked on the keyhole, clicked on the door. We can't read the papers. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to put more together. Card warned that the Yagarasu would steal the embassy's dirtiest secret. Okay, well, we can probably put these two together. That seems like a clear connection. The design on the knife's handle. It greatly resembles a special Babalee species of butterfly.
It does, doesn't it? Plus it says right here.
This knife is property of the Republic of Babao. Perhaps this means that the knife used in the crime was found right in this room. I guess we do know why Franziska's here, though, after her reaction to the safe. To steal your dirtiest secret. Is it possible that the dirty secret the Yatagarasu was out to steal is in this very room?
Dirty secret?
Franziska, You're in pursuit of some dirty, underhanded dealings yourself, aren't you not? Something tells me that this is no coincidence.
In that case, then, the person I'm looking for is here in the Balbelize embassy, huh? The head of the smuggling operation.
I think I just might need to ask Franziska about her smuggling case in more depth. Franziska, when we last talked, you said that you were on the trail of a smuggling ring. I suppose the reason you are here right now is related to that?
Yes. After analyzing the intel we've gathered from various countries, this embassy rose to the top of our list of sites to investigate. And this is what tipped us off.
This accounting document.
It's only one page of the whole thing, so we're not sure about all the details. However, it's enough for us to grab onto the tail of the beast. For you see, this type of paper was made only in the Principality of Cadopia, which means that somewhere in the countries of Alabast and Babal is the head. The one pulling the strings behind the entire smuggling ring.
That's Franziska for you. She's amazing. Pursuing this case with all she has. County doc related smuggling. Proof someone in one of the countries is ringleader. Okay. So now can we grab these papers, perhaps? Oh, we can deduce, though, because now we added that to our... Yeah, there we go. That's what we need to do. Take a good look at these documents, Franziska.
It says that there are 3 pages in total, and yet there are only 2 here.
Correct. Now take a look at the smuggling activity document in your possession. Tell me, is it not possible that your page was taken from this set of 3?
Well, it certainly looks that way.
By putting our multi-part puzzle together, we seem to have arrived at an answer. And it seems that you have now found what you were looking for.
Yes, and with this it has become crystal clear that Mr. Cochin himself was responsible for the mass smuggling of Babalese ink.
Babalese ink?
Babalese ink is a special product of the Republic of Babal. However, due to a special reason, only a limited volume is ever exported.
And that reason is?
That's classified. It's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
What is so special about this ink?
In any case, it seems that the head of the smuggling ring was our victim, Mr. Manny Cochin.
His base was in an embassy, thus it was hard for both our country and his to interfere, making it the ideal conditions under which to run a smuggling operation.
But it's so frustrating. I lost the person I was to rain judgment down upon with my whip of justice.
Well, even if he is dead, we still have a responsibility to look into his misdeeds.
You expect me to whip a dead man? Well, I'm not interested.
Franziska, you must know that Manny Cochin was the suspect in the KG-8 incident.
Of course I know. On top of being head of the smuggling ring, there is the matter of what really happened in that case that needs to be resolved.
I wonder how much of a cliffhanger this is supposed to end on, because I was under the... I was led to the impression that both of these games are connected in like one giant story. But considering I haven't seen people upset about a cliffhanger these last like 10 years, I don't know if that's just in part because of the fan translation, or if maybe this game kind of isn't that connected to the second game. I'm curious how much of this actually gets resolved.
Are you done investigating? You realize now, don't you, that this girl is the only one it could be? Now, come along quietly, Yatagarasu. Kei Faraday. You are under arrest for the murder of Manny Cochin. Mr. Edgeworth! Please, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I chased the fake Yatagarasu in here. And he was already... You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
I'd like to help you reduce the number of mistaken arrests Interpol makes.
What is that supposed to mean?
I believe I told you that Kei Faraday is not the culprit of this crime.
Very well. I suppose I have no choice. I'll show you just how foolish your claims are. Even your police confirmed that the Yatagarasu infiltrated the Babyliss embassy tonight. Utilizing the confusion caused by the fire, the Yatagarasu snuck into this embassy. Furthermore, this girl claims to be the Yatagarasu. And most importantly, other than her, there was no one else in here with the body.
Yeah, but there's like an open window right there. You're telling me someone couldn't have escaped out the window? If they're saying this whole place on fire, of course they're gonna jump out the window. Your reason for suspecting Kay is because you think she is the Yatagarasu?
Exactly, but it isn't just me. She calls herself the Yatagarasu. Look, how many times do I have to tell you? I was only out to capture the fake Yatagarasu. Imposter or no, it matters not. The Yatagarasu is a Yatagarasu.
Very well. Then I shall prove that Kay is not the Yatagarasu who killed Manny Kochin.
Go ahead and try. Show me what the prosecutors of this country are made of.
Thought I already demonstrated that back in the amusement park.
Hold it!
They may have confirmed it, but are you telling me that no one could catch the thief? If so, you're basically admitting that the Yatagarasu that committed murder eluded us.
Of course, I chased after the Yatagarasu that entered the Babyliss embassy right away. And that is also why I'm making this arrest right now. Because at the end of my long chase, there was only this girl. In any case, this is what I believe happened tonight.
Hold it!
The confusion caused by the fire? Are you saying that the Yatagarasu was not the arsonist who started the fire?
A suspicious person in a long coat was spotted in the area. Officers in the area claim to have seen that person start the fire.
Sounds like we have a phantom in our midst. Yeah. In a way, he could be considered a phantom, with the way he randomly appears. Wait, what if Gumshoe actually did it? There's no way. But what if? Just because she calls herself that doesn't prove that she is a killer.
No, but it does give her a motive. The Yatagarasu sent a card saying, "I will be there to steal your dirtiest secret." Furthermore, there are documents pertaining to some smuggling activity in this room. She obviously wanted to steal them. So she killed Mr. Kochin for the key.
I see. The logic is very sound. I expected nothing less of Agent Lang's secretary. However, that statement just now didn't sound right. Might just be the opening I need.
Hold it!
So, you're claiming that Kay knew that a foreign country's embassy had such documents?
As stated in the calling card, the Yatagarasu was out to steal a dirty secret, which means that the goal tonight was to steal those smuggling activity documents. You have it all wrong. It was the fake that sent that card. Your words are meaningless. If you're truly innocent, then let's see some proof. Hey, Miss Edgeworth, I leave it to you to handle this.
Yes, I'd rather you did. Yatagarasu's goal, huh?
You can claim she's innocent, but you can't change the facts I've already outlined.
Hold it!
I really don't think that being the first to discover the body makes her the killer by default.
No, but if you saw the self-purported Yatagarasu standing in front of a body, wouldn't you get a little suspicious yourself?
Well, maybe a little, but like, not enough to arrest, perhaps. Even so, I'd still listen to what that person had to say before I passed judgment.
Are you talking about yourself in those times when you were under suspicion?
I think the pain of being falsely accused is something you really should experience. Yeah, when's it Franziska's turn to get arrested? Unfortunately, Godot is, already got arrested. Same with Von Karma, so Franziska's the only one left.
I personally know the feeling very well, sir. And given my situation, I know exactly what it's like too. I'm fine with never experiencing it, ever.
Oh, just you wait. I'm sure she's gonna get arrested at some point.
Are you done with your little group conference?
So Agent Shi now suspects Kay of murder simply because Kay is the Yatagarasu. But if I can prove that the Yatagarasu's goal is not related to murder, then I may be able to begin the reason with her. Okay. Utilizing confusion caused by fire, Yagos is knocking the embassy. Girl claims to be her, yeah. Wanted to steal documents regarding smuggling, so she killed Mr. Cochin for the key. Well, the key was on his person, but she didn't take the key. The key was still there. Like, yeah, there we go. Okay, I was like 80% sure this was gonna be it, but the key was still there. So why kill and leave the key? Agent Sheena, I regret to inform you, but there is a flaw in your logic.
Oh?
Even if you claim that she is the killer and the Yatakarasu, I am certain that securing the smuggling documents is not the motive behind the murder. The key to the safe in this room was found on Mr. Cochin's body. Furthermore, the Yatakarasu would not be so stupid as to leave without the documents. By the simple fact that the documents were still in the safe when we looked, it's obvious that the killer's target was not the safe at all.
Then perhaps she didn't know that Mr. Cochin had the key on him.
Then why kill him? If that's the case, then why would she have the need to kill him? Because I can think of no reason for her to kill him if she had not known that fact.
Neat reason. All of this is simply our conjecturing after the fact. It's entirely possible that she accidentally killed him when she was sneaking in.
So what was she planning to do then? Pickpocket him? Take advantage of that sneak 100?
Perhaps she didn't notice the safe second compartment before returning the key.
Ooh, shit. Kinda got you there.
But the fact still remains that Mr. Cochin was stabbed to death.
But you have no definitive proof that it was Kay who committed the act.
Actually, I do. I saw her holding the knife she used on the victim with my own eyes.
Of course. Every time. Why is it like every innocent person is stupid enough to pick up the murder weapon? Like, what are you thinking?
Allow me to tell you a bit more about the evidence that will put her away behind bars. The knife wound on the body is consistent with the blade of the knife. The knife with the butterfly handle is the murder weapon, which the killer was holding. I assume she obtained the knife from the display rack and used it on the victim. The knife is part of a special 3-piece set, which has a design like no other. The evidence and testimony at all points to the girl.
Well, that's a pretty decent theory. It does kind of look like the knives from the set. But the other two handles burnt away, so why did this one not burn away?
That is your definitive evidence? You see now that she is definitely the killer, right? No, Mr. Edgeworth, you gotta believe me. I saw a suspicious person in a long black coat outside the embassy, I swear.
And you came in here because you were chasing this suspicious person?
That's right. I ran into this office only because I was chasing after that person. But when I entered the room, it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I felt something on the ground next to my foot, so I turned on the lights, but then...
And then she just walks in.
This is... I came to this room upon hearing the girl scream, and when I saw her holding the knife, I immediately restrained her.
So the object Kay felt by her feet on the floor was the murder weapon.
I had the knife analyzed right away, but we failed to find anyone's prints on it.
So, because she was just happened to be holding it, that's apparently enough. Man, Interpol's like really on the ball here.
But the suspicious person in the black coat came into this room before me.
Yeah, where'd he go, huh? Answer me that.
You continue to insist there was such a person, but if there was, where did they go? That... I don't know, but I know they came in here. That sounds like the desperate excuses of a suspected killer, not a trustworthy testimony. You understand, don't you? We can't trust this girl's words, Mr. Edgeworth.
She has a point. Even if Kay's words are the truth, I must show that they are with some solid evidence.
Mr. Edgeworth,
I really didn't...
Hey, don't worry. If you didn't do it, then there must exist a way for me to prove that.
Still not giving up, I see. In that case, try to counter my argument, if you can.
Don't worry, I can and I will. Definitive evidence. I have an idea, but I don't know how we're gonna get to that point, how we can convince her with it.
Hold it.
But I think I have an idea. Does this mean that you already have the results back?
We have confirmed that the shape of the Babyliss knife's blade matches the wound. Please don't confuse the efficiency of Interpol's forensics team with your own.
I won't if you don't underestimate our police force. And so we're clear. I'd hardly say your logic is sound, which you will see in a bit.
If you can prove me wrong, please, by all means, go ahead.
That has been my intention all along. Now, let us return to your testimony.
Hold it.
You mean to say that you saw Kay holding the murder weapon with your own eyes?
I was also on the search for the Yatagarasu. When I heard that girl screaming coming from this room, I rushed over straight away. When I arrived, I saw that girl standing there motionless with the knife in her hands. But I already told you, I came in here only because I was also after the Yatagarasu. A suspicious person I saw came into this room. But when I entered, it was pitch dark. I felt something by my foot on the floor, so I turned on the lights, and then...
You found out that it was the murder weapon at your feet.
How many times do I have to tell you? We can't trust the words of a suspect.
The only thing you'll accept as evidence, is it?
That's the only acceptable way to counter an agent of Interpol on the scene of a crime. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have some kind of evidence that can prove me innocent?
I think I do, because there's one piece of evidence I find to be a bit interesting. I think I need to carefully examine that piece of evidence again.
Hold it.
I ask that you please refrain from speculation.
It is a sound hypothesis derived from the evidence. There's no room for debate. Miles Edgeworth, note that an ungrateful loss will not be tolerated, my subordinate. Now, reboot her hypothesis with factual logic. Otherwise, what was your investigation for?
Yes, you are correct. Thank you.
Helping a subordinate out with advice is the job of any good superior.
She seems to be rather enjoying herself. But she is correct nonetheless. Agent Sheena, please continue with your testimony.
Hold it.
About the three-piece set, is there really no other like it?
Let's ask Ambassador Paliano for more details, shall we?
The knives are indeed special. They have the butterfly, the symbol of the Republic of Babal, engraved on them. And because there are only 3 of them in the world, they are very, very valuable. The national symbol, huh? Well, the knives are covered in the butterfly design. Along with the Alabastian set, our respective countries only have 3 knives each. I see.
Are you satisfied now? If so, let's continue.
I think that cutaway was to throw you off.
Hold it.
But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see how this goes here. No, I believe there is still room for debate, and I'll thank you to not decide that for me.
I didn't decide anything for you. I'm merely looking at reality the way it is.
Are you sure you're not just viewing the facts through rose-colored glasses? No, I think her glasses are a little too dark for that. I'm surprised she sees anything at all, really.
Mr. Edgeworth, I think she's mad at you.
Perhaps. But our definitions of reality are a tad different.
Are the 2 of you done chatting?
Agent Sheena's proof is the Babyliss knife that Kay was allegedly holding. Yeah, so, how you gonna prove that Kay didn't do it, sir? If Agent Sheena wants to suspect Kay merely because Kay was the only one here, then I must show with evidence that Kay couldn't have committed the murder. But do you have such evidence, sir? Yes, there's one piece of evidence that seems very unnatural to me, and I believe it is my duty to point that out to Agent Sheena. Okay, let's see if I'm right about this. That one there. Yes. Can we examine this knife at all? Oh, we can. Maybe that's important first. Let's go with that first. So this is what took Mr. Cochin's life. Some of his blood is still on the blade. Wow, I've been a detective for 7 years already? I've seen a lot of weapons in my days. But knives that were used to kill are always the hardest for me to bear. Yes, unlike guns, this one is one weapon where you're likely to find the victim's blood on it. Yeah, just like I know this one is practically drenched in it, huh, sir? Despite that, it does look like the blade managed to miss the handle somehow. Okay, I think I have an idea of what's actually going on here. Can we? Yeah, we can look at the butterfly. There's a lot of skilled detailing on this handle. It would appear that the handle in this knife is removable. I guess so people can change them whenever they feel like it. Sounds like fun, sir. I don't think people would remove the handle just for fun, detective. Okay, I think I know what to present. Oh yeah, no. We want to present the knife. Or not. Shit. I thought for sure that was it. Was I on the wrong statement? No, I'm pretty sure I was on the one I wanted to present. Okay. Maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit. The knife. There's no guns in this one. Not yet, anyways. Is there another one we could use? Not really. Well, wait. Single stab to the base of neck, the body wasn't badly burnt by the fire. Okay. Knife is part of a special 3-piece set, which has a design like no other. Evan's testimony all points to girls, no counter-argument. Knife with the butterfly handles and murder weapons the killer was holding. Do we present the knife here because it's... the handle can be replaced? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm guessing that's what we're getting at then. That was a... It's a finer detail you have to remember, I guess. So the murder weapon was the knife with the butterfly design on it. Was that really the truth?
What are you getting at?
I'd like for you to take a look at this. There is blood on the blade, and yet there's not a speck of blood on the handle. This signifies that at the time of the crime, a different handle was attached to this blade. The knife that Kay was holding had its handle switched, and was in fact not the real murder weapon.
It wasn't the real murder weapon?
This knife can be taken apart. Shall we give it a go? As you can see, the Balbelese knife has now been disassembled into 2 parts. The killer must have pulled the murder weapon out of the victim's body, and proceeded to swap the knife's original handle with this butterfly one. It was all to create the illusion that Mr. Cochin was killed with the butterfly-themed knife. This should clear up any and all suspicions surrounding Kay. Swapped with the real murder weapon's handle, its blade has yet to be found.
Your argument isn't airtight yet.
How so?
It's possible that the girl herself is the one who switched the handles.
Okay. Don't be ridiculous. What purpose would she do such a thing?
I don't care how to know a criminal thinks. The way they view the world is beyond the comprehension of a normal person like myself.
Isn't that like the purpose of like investigators though? Criminal investigation is to try and understand the criminal? Like that was something we invented in the 80s for that specific reason.
Therefore, I wouldn't put anything past them, no matter how odd it may seem.
Yeah, like criminal psychology, it's like a whole school. The truth is right there in front of you, and this knife will show you the way. You will come to see that Kay is not and could not have been Mr. Cochin's killer.
What is this mark on here?
It's the mark of a flower. I assume you know what this means.
No, not really. Butterflies rest on flowers all the time to drink their sweet nectar.
How are you Interpol and not know like these basic things about the countries that you are in charge of here? They're under your jurisdiction. And so they do. However, would this butterfly really drink the nectar of this flower? The answer is clearly not a chance. Now to prove the relationship between the butterfly and the flower with this. Would it be this? Probably, hey? The Kingdom of Alabasta still produces the very luxurious Cadopian paper, which is renowned for its extremely high quality. Republic of Babal is the sole producer of Balbalese ink, which is made from white wit crystal. It is also known to generously offer coupons. Is wit crystal some sort of fake drug? Is that why it's like heavily controlled? I'm thinking that's probably it.
Take that!
You can't be serious.
It appears you've made the connection. The flower on this blade is designed after a certain country's national symbol. That's right, the Kingdom of Alabasta. In other words, this blade is from one of Alabasta's ornamental knives. This part of the knife handle has Babal's national symbol of the butterfly on it. Therefore, it is undeniably Babalese in origin. But as we both know, you can't kill someone with just a knife handle. Incidentally, when exactly did the murder occur again, Agent Sheena?
After the fire had broken out.
That's right. Kay entered the Babalese embassy after the fire had taken place. Furthermore, she had not been to the Alabastian side of the building before then. On top of that, not a single person passed between the two countries during the fire. Which means that Kay could not have transported an Alabastian object over here. This makes it impossible for her to be the true killer. Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. What a great victory. Why does it look like he's getting a massage from the secretary? Huh? Hey, why is everyone so quiet? I'm happy we got this far and cleared Kay's name. But what worries me now is what will happen next.
What is the meaning of this? An Alabastian knife here.
Do you mean, how did this find its way to the Republic of Babal? It didn't just find its way over. Rather, we should focus on how it was smuggled over.
You know what? My brain hurts thinking about it while we're just standing around. Thinking while you're on the run? Now that's the way of a real great thief operates.
Kay?
Oh, thanks a bunch, Mr. Edgeworth. For proving me innocent, I mean. You believed in me the whole time, right? Telling me you did.
Not really, but...
Come on, you don't have to be shy about it. Your argument is still not airtight.
Would you care to elaborate?
I understand now that the girl didn't commit the murder. However, there's still the possibility that she is the Yatagarasu. That again? Look, how many times do I have to explain it to you? I'm the real Yatagarasu. I'm not like that fake one that goes around setting fires, okay?
Did you really just say that? In front of an Interpol officer?
Whether you're the real deal or a fake, it doesn't really matter. All I have to say is this. I have made suspicions that this girl is the one who started the fire.
Preposterous. On what grounds do you suspect her of such a thing?
The fact that she calls herself the Yatagarasu. That in itself is the most elegant proof. Miss Sheena. Yes? I have no intention of taking back any of what I've said. I am the great thief Yatagarasu, and I refuse to allow some imposter to claim that name as their own. The path of justice is that my father pointed me towards. I will walk it the best I can. It's not good to be so stubborn. I hope you can understand that. Thanks a lot for the concern, Miss Sheena. Let me share something with you too, as a token of my appreciation. Those sunglasses totally do nothing for you, so I'll steal them from you next time, okay? Well, I guess we better get going. We're going? To where? To the Kingdom of Alabasta. If we don't go, we won't know for sure, right? I suppose not. We won't get anywhere simply by standing here thinking. To see where the Alabastian knife came from, we'll have to pay the Alabastian embassy a visit. Let's go, Miles Edgeworth. As you are my subordinate, I will not tolerate you bringing the investigation to a halt.
Understood. An international crime, possibly international murder. Is this how wars start? I think it is. That could be a problem. Certainly anything bigger than Phoenix Wright got himself involved in. But we were going to probably end it off there, and we'll finish this case up next time. So that will be it for today. I hope everyone enjoyed. I will be back tomorrow with something. I don't know yet. Haven't quite decided. But Minecraft will be Friday. That I do know for sure. And we will start Anodyne 2 next Monday, now that Sonic is complete. So I'm looking forward to that. The first Anodyne was quite something. So I'm curious to see what the sequel will be like. But that'll be it for today. So thank you all for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed. And I will see you next time.